What are we? I've been back 3-4 days. Come here, this way, Harry. Good boy. Good boy. I've been back 3-4 days maybe, and I have to confess that the whole trip sort of reawakened that sense of connection to nature, if you want to put it that way. That sense of completeness, I suppose, just from being of being in the forest, being outdoors, rain or no rain. It's just that sense of fullness from the experience of nature. I don't know how else to describe it, and that's really what I sought, and what drew me to the west of Ireland 10-15 years ago was just the possibility to partake in that. However, my realization being, of course, that you absolutely do not need a lot to partake of the experience of nature. You don't even need a garden. So rather than driving another 1,000 kilometers, I am scouting around home base. There's a few small forests around here, and the day I got back, basically I went out looking. The next day also I just went looking for just like possible locations just to camp overnight. And so today I'm doing a longer walk. I'm going to do about a 5-mile walk around the circumference of home base, and pick up some possible sites for overnight stays. I used to have a tent, actually, quite a good tent, and it was left in storage for so long that the rats buried into it and they made a nest out of it. Glad they got to use it though, you know, it wasn't complete loss. So I've ordered a replacement, and I should have that, I guess, a week, 2 weeks maybe. So in the meantime I'm going to just do day treks around the area, so building up to kind of a nice overnight stay somewhere. So let's see how we go. Coming up on a very small wood here, and it's less than half a kilometer from home base. So, but what I've done is I've circled around maybe 3 miles, and I'm approaching it from the other side, partially just to get out with the dog, and on the other hand just to conceal my entrance. So it's private land basically, and I'm not here to like steal crops or to trample crops, but I wouldn't have too much regard for that. If I'm going to carefully camp in the trees over here and leave everything as I found it, I don't see what the big deal is. So partially I just don't want to get spotted, I suppose. So you can just make out a roof over here. So there is one building, one structure here. It's a private residence, but they might actually be some kind of gamekeeper. So this would be preserved land for hunting traditionally, but now it's given over to, it's leased out by local farmers. And yeah, I guess they just don't want people hunting or tramping around in here. There's also wild deer roaming all over this area. You can see them if you get up at dawn. You can see them sort of trekking across. So here's some tracks. This. I know these trees cut across in here. You can see a line of houses up here, so still just want to stay out of the sight line as much as possible. This is it, actually. This is the place here. I've known this piece of woods since I was a child. Now if you can see, I just spotted a deer. Way around it, like I have to disturb it. I have to pass this way, so oh, now it's moving off. Quite a nice moment when you see one, like a actually in the wild, rather than the deer in Phoenix Park, which are essentially like pets. You know, everybody feeds them carrots, but if you can get that close to an actual wild deer, I think that's pretty impressive. Now, if I was a hunter, I probably would have had a shot on that, but it's not really my game. All of this activity here, this on the underbrush is all disturbed and broken, and this is a typical area where you'll find these deer. They sort of kick up the dirt, and they mark the trees as well. There's another area down here. Actually, what we have here is it's like a circle, it's like a ring of trees, but in the centre is quite a nice opening, and that was a place I sort of envisioned as a nice place to sort of set up a camp for the evening. Let's see. Now, I scouted it the other day. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of deer tracks here. You see this? So I do have a passage through here, so I don't really want to disturb that. This tree came down not long ago. Now this is freshly broken here. All of this undergrowth is disturbed, so they've been through this way. And now look at this. Tracks everywhere here, so the earth is disturbed everywhere. So here, this is the centre of the circle here, and we have maybe 6-7 trees, mature trees here. I'm awaiting a kind of a shelter that you sling to trees, so it's going to make it easier, but I think this will be a nice place. I think to set up a sort of a little encampment here for an evening and for the night would be quite nice to sort of ground myself to this place. This place I've known for almost 40 years, but never camped out here. That's the strange thing, you know. As much as I've camped in these far remote places, I've just never come so close to home, and it's going to have a sort of a special quality for me, I think. So yeah, I think this will be a nice site to begin with. You know, late September, kind of still autumn before we get that big drop in temperature. Even then, I mean, I'm geared up for 4 seasons, so if we have a little sort of a clear period, then certainly I'll be out. So wow, there's the sun just breaking through the clouds. This is part 1, just scouting out location. I'm happy with this as a prospective site, and so part 2 will actually be gearing up. I'm doing the absolute minimum here, so I'm not going to be bringing like kind of extraneous things. It will literally be something for sleeping, something for light cooking, and possibly something for rain. So yeah, so come here, Paul. Come here. What'd you find, Harry? Come on, what'd you find? Good boy. Good boy. We go out this way, Paul.